another episode of the Inner Compass podcast. Today is going to be kind of like a mini masterclass. So make sure you get a piece of paper, some pen, and really block off some time to really dedicate to this inner releasing of 2024. So, in order to make peace with 2024, we have to go over different topics, explore different things, figure out what worked, what didn't work, what can we repeat in 2025, what can we leave in 2024. So, we really have to be honest with ourselves. So, if you are feeling maybe like 2024 wasn't the year that you really wanted it to be, if you are feeling maybe stuck or blocked, what you can do is listen to this podcast episode. Maybe listen to it while you're going on a walk or doing something where you can really kind of like dive deep. And then what you can do is listen to this again, second time, with a pen and paper. Or if you're like, you know what, I'm just so ready for this year to be epic and amazing, dive right in, get your piece of paper, get your pen, and let's get started. So, I want you to think about 2024 and I want you to think about your proudest moments from this year. What are you proud of from 2024? And I'm someone that's like, when I'm put on the spot of like, what am I proud of? I kind of freeze and I kind of get stuck and like, I have no idea. I am such a visual person and I take photos of everything. So, what I usually do is I will go to January 2024 and I will look at my photos and then I will grab my pen and I will say, oh my gosh, this was something that I was super proud of. For me, this last January, I launched my first mastermind. I loved it. I realized masterminds are not for me. It was fun. It was a learning experience, but that's something I did in January. So then you can go through February, March, so and so and so. Map out your proudest moments. And sometimes we think our proudest moments have to be these huge, big milestones. And a proud moment might be you set a boundary with a family member, you set a boundary with a friend, you said no when you said no when you typically say yes. So, proudest moments on paper typically look like big milestones like graduations, promotions, but proudest moments for you can be whatever feels good from 2024. So, mapping out 2024, your proudest moments. So, if you need to pause the audio, you can definitely do that to pause. What are your proudest moments from this year? So, now that you've brain dumped your proudest moments of 2024, I want you to ask yourself, where could you have improved? Okay, so maybe you didn't hit all of your goals. Maybe you did hit a majority of your goals, but you kind of aimed yourself a little bit lower. And maybe you're like, I wasn't as ambitious as I thought I could be. Or maybe I didn't push myself to where I really could have pushed myself. So, where could you improve for 2025? So, like, let's say, for example, if you're a content creator or you're an entrepreneur or you're in the dating world, where could you push yourself a little bit? And what I mean push yourself is when you're writing it down, like, where could I have improved? Ask yourself what feels like a really big goal that I've never achieved before, and how can I make time and energy to achieve that in 2025? Other areas, where could you have improved? Okay, maybe you set your goals and you really struggle with consistency. Okay, so maybe 2025, your goal is consistency. As you know, I have not been consistent with this podcast. My goal for 2025 is to show up every single week and deliver a lot of value, transformations, and have a positive impact on your life. So, my word for 2025 is consistency. So, ask yourself, where can I improve in other areas? Let's say, for example, you have a weight goal. Maybe you want to work out a few times a week, you want to do weights or you want to do cardio, XYZ, and you notice you do really well during the week, but then when it's the weekends, you start to fall off and you're like, oh, I'm not staying consistent with my goals. I'm not giving myself the consistency that I want. So, where could you improve? So, think about all of your goals that you set for 2024. And even if you did achieve them or you didn't achieve them, just kind of ask yourself, where could I have improved? And this is not to shame you, this is not to belittle you. This is really to just ask yourself, where could I improve and be like the best best self in 2025. So brain dump all the areas that you can improve, and then ask yourself, thinking about 2024, what worked for you? Like, did it work having a morning routine? Did it work having an evening routine? What worked for you? Was it staying consistent? Was it having an accountability buddy? Was it moving to a new city? Like, what worked for you? Was it really relying on your friends for support instead of your dusty ex? So you can ask yourself, what really worked for you in 2024? So something that worked for me really well in 2024 was just saying yes. I said yes to so many opportunities. I was a guest speaker at an event. I all these things that happened, all of these speaking things that I did. And you know what was really amazing for me in 2024 is my business crossed seven figures. And so that really worked for me is I didn't even realize I was on track to hit seven figures until I was doing my taxes. And then I was like, wait a minute, let me look at the year's other taxes. And then I looked at all the taxes and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally 60K away from $1 million. And so then I was like, oh, what was working for me was tracking those numbers. So that really helped me stay consistent of every person, right? Transaction equals transformation. So every person that entered my world helped me get one step closer to a million, but also helped them change their relationship with money, change their relationship with their goals, allow them to believe that they can do XYZ. So ask yourself what worked for you in 2024. So now ask yourself, what didn't work for you? Like, what was something that you're like, we are leaving in 2024? Maybe you're leaving yo-yo diets. Maybe you're like, I'm done with diet culture. I'm done doing these like certain kind of diets. I'm going to lean into intuitive eating. Or maybe what didn't work for you was doing certain kind of workouts that are not in alignment with your body. So ask yourself, what didn't work for you specifically. Maybe you had a friend that was like, oh my gosh, you have to work with this coach, and you're working with this coach, and you're like, this is just not a match. And you're like really trying to make it work, and it's just not a fit for you. Maybe what didn't work is listening to your ego instead of your intuition. I was working with a client today, we were talking about intuition is the energy of a secure attachment, while ego is the energy of an anxious attachment. So when we let our ego take over and when our ego decides our goals, our dreams, our aspirations, we are leaning in with an anxious attachment. And an anxious attachment means I need the world to save me because I can't save myself. While intuition is paired with a secure attachment, and a secure attachment is I can save myself, I can achieve my own goals, I can do it. I don't need anyone else to save me. So that is something that you can really focus on is where did I lean into my intuition and where did I lean into my ego? And again, ego is all about the anxious attachment. Anxious attachment is I am only okay when someone tells me I'm okay. While secure attachment is being guided by your intuition that I can do this, I can go, I can move forward. Okay, so asking yourself what didn't work. So now ask yourself, okay, where you're at today. So no matter where you're listening to this audio, where are you at today? Like, how happy are you with your life? How happy are you with your goals? Do you feel like you're achieving your goals? Do you feel like, man, I just can't get ahead? I just keep feeling like I'm putting in all this work and I'm not getting the results? Or are you like, I'm the happiest I've ever been? I've never been more aligned with my inner compass. I've never been more magnetic. It's just a matter of time for my goals to come through. So ask yourself, where am I at today in relation to my happiness and my goals? And you can use, I like to use a scale of like 0 to 10. Okay, so if 10 is peak happiness, how happy are you with your life today? Is it 10 out of 10? Is it 9 out of 10? Is it 2 out of 10? Right, without judgment, how happy are you with your life right now? And how happy are you with your goals? Are you a 10 out of 10? You're like, I'm hitting my goals. Every goal I set, I'm able to achieve it. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling alignment, blah, 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 blah. Keep asking yourself over and over, okay, how happy am I? And how happy am I with my goals? So now we're going to jump right into 2025. So those are all the steps that you need to take, that you can take to release 2024. So you can re-listen to this audio and really dive in. Where were you proud? What was working? What didn't work? What do you want to leave in 2024? Maybe you want to leave like poor boundaries, being taken advantage of, being walked all over, not pursuing your dreams, giving up on your dreams. So like, what do you want to leave in 2024? And let's make room for 2025. This is like so exciting. I actually just got done finishing my vision board. It took a few days. I was doing it on a couple of different softwares, and I ended up finding this one software, and I am so excited. And I'm sure I'll be talking about this for a long time, but I'm actually going to take my vision board and I'm going to have a company make it into a puzzle. I'm just going to use Shutterfly probably and have it make a puzzle. So, every couple of weeks, I'm literally going to be building my vision board as a puzzle piece. So I just thought that would be so fun. Puzzles are so affordable. They're like $18, $19. You can get a custom puzzle of your vision board. How cool. So I'm going to get it printed out, put it on my computer, and get a puzzle. So we're going to be doing all the vision board stuff. And I will definitely do a podcast episode on what to include in your vision board and how you can make you feel like so magnetic. So now as you're thinking about 2025, where you want to go, what you want to do, how far do you want to go with your goals in 2025? Do you have number goals, like money goals, like I want to hit this income month or this annual mark? Like where are your money goals for 2025? Do you have people goals, like friendships, relationships, family? What kind of goals do you have for your social work, social network? Do you want to travel more with people? Do you want to make more of an effort to have in-person relationships? Are you wanting to dive deeper into online communities? What are some of those goals that you have set for 2025? And as you are thinking about your goals for 2025, ask yourself what needs to change in your life. And sometimes we're like, well, if I knew the answer, I would already do it. And this is where we can lean into our intuition. Our intuition will guide us on what needs to change for 2025. Do I need to be more consistent? Do I need to hire that coach? Do I need to hire that mentor? Do I need to dive into personal development? We know YouTube has so many videos on personal development, on entrepreneurship, on content creation, wherever it is, getting a raise, a promotion. Where can you dive in to really lean into the identity that you are changing for 2025? And ask yourself, what are the emotions that I want to feel in 2025? What are the emotions? Do you want to feel motivated, ambitious, confident, excited? Do you want to feel accomplished? Do you want to feel inspiring, motivating? What emotions do you want to feel? And as you're identifying the emotions that you want to feel in 2025, then ask yourself, what action steps and what thoughts can I do, can I have in order to create those emotions? So we know our thoughts create our emotions create the energy to take action, right? Because if I get bad news, I'm not going to want to take action. I'm going to want to be sad, maybe some grief, some loss, or let's say I get a text message for an opportunity, right? That sparks a new thought, which sparks a new emotion, which is going to cause a new action. So you can ask yourself, what do I want to feel in 2025? What do I want to accomplish in 2025? And then you can dive even deeper and ask yourself, what excites you about your goals? If your goals don't excite you, you need new goals. Like if you're like, oh yeah, I've got this goal to work out 3 times a week, 5 times a week. And then you're like, oh, that doesn't sound very exciting. And you're like, yeah, but that's what it says. I have to work out in order to stay healthy. Oh, okay. Well, could you make goals that actually excite you? Like maybe going to a Pilates class or a workout class or getting a workout buddy that excites you. So really creating goals that excite you, that light you up. So then this is going to be your superpower. This next chunk of time is going to be your superpower. Time and time again, this is the missing link for so many people, which is why this is my word for 2025. How can I be more consistent? How can you be more consistent? This is going to be your superpower. Is there something you need to cut out to be more consistent? Do you need to cut out social media? Do you need to cut out scrolling on social media? Do you need to cut out time on your phone and go back to pen and paper? How can you be more consistent with your workouts? Do you need to put your clothes out the night before? Do you need to go to a group fitness that charges you if you don't show up or if you cancel? What are some things that you can implement to help you be more consistent? Do you need to hire a coach that you can meet with frequently so you can stay on top, held accountable, have that leadership and mentorship for your goals for 2025? Because here's what happens. Everyone gets really ambitious in January. January 1st, what do we know about the gyms? They are full. What do we know historically? January 7th, the gyms are empty. So there's actually this thing called the absent violation effect. And when we stop staying consistent with our goals, that's what makes our breaks the next step. So, for example, if your goal is to either work out every day, and I always say sweat or stretch. So, you're either going to sweat or you're going to stretch, some type of movement. Let's say you take a day off because you're not feeling well. It's not because you take a day off that impacts your goals. It's actually what happens is if you never come back. So you can take a break. Let's say you take the weekend off or you're on your cycle, you take a break. If you don't come back to staying consistent with your goals, that's what causes the biggest barrier for you to achieve your goals. It's when you give up, when you're not seeing results. It's when you give up and you don't come back. How can you stay consistent even when you don't have evidence and proof? For example, if you're working out, we know weightlifting, right? It's really hard. Over time, your body's going to get stronger. You're going to have more endurance. It's going to get easier. But if you give up before you hit that mark of consistency, that's where we are not able to achieve our goals. Same thing with content creation, entrepreneurship, relationships, getting a promotion, budgeting, saving money. Where can you stay more consistent with your 2025 goals? And what do you need to do to be a consistent person? Do you need to have a new morning routine? Do you need to do XYZ? All those things can happen. So, if you could achieve one thing in 2025 that would have the biggest domino effect for you, what would that one thing be? And really dive in. A lot of times my clients say, like, money, right? I'm a money coach. I help you increase your internal wealth. Okay, so if you have a money goal, you're like, if I made more money, this would help trickle down so many areas. Okay, then how can you stay consistent in the goals that will help you make more money? Maybe you're like, I just need to get in a relationship that would help me with all the other areas. Okay, how can you stay consistent in all the areas that are going to help you nurture, sustain, grow a relationship? Maybe it's your weight. You're like, I want to lose weight. Okay, how do we step into that identity of someone who easily and naturally loses weight? So, if you could think about one thing for 2025 that you could achieve that would have the biggest domino effect, what would that be? And what would need to change in your life to make it happen? Do we need to stop with excuses? Do we need to stop giving up on ourselves? The biggest thing I see with my clients, and that's why they hire me, is they give up before they need to give up. They say no to themselves before the universe can co create with them because they wanted it yesterday, not tomorrow. And when we have this energy that I wanted it yesterday, it doesn't allow for the wonder and awe of the universe to co create with us. It doesn't allow the universe to say, I've got something even bigger, but you've got this grip on what you want it to look like, how you want it to be. So then you can ask yourself, how do I want to feel throughout this whole process? How can I create more of those emotions? Well, we know, how do we influence our emotions, our thoughts? All right, so how can I create beliefs? How can I create an identity that allows me to step into that version of me that's achieving those goals? So then what areas in your lifestyle will we need to change? Is there any aspects of your lifestyle that we can improve on? Do we need to meal prep? Do we need to declutter? Do we need to get rid of things? Do we need to call in support? really do a deep dive of what has worked for me and what is clearly not working as I'm looking at the new year. And really ask yourself, like, what are you desiring more of in your life? Are you desiring more peace, more serenity? Are you desiring more fun, excitement, travel? What are you really desiring? And how can you allow your goals to lean into what you are desiring for your life? Okay, so that wraps up all the questions for releasing 2024 to step into the most amazing 2025. And as you've mapped out your 2024 goals or your 2025 goals, what you want to release, what you want to embody, the identity, the best way to get there is identifying 3 non negotiables that you can do every single day that will allow you to stay consistent and move forward with your goals. So ask yourself, what could be my 3 non negotiables? I usually break it down into a personal non negotiable. So for me, it's sweater stretch every single day. And then I've got my business non negotiable, and that is show up on social media. And then I have a miscellaneous one. So miscellaneous can be friends, this, that, family, relationships, significant others, kiddos, you fill in the blank. But when you create these 3 non negotiables, what will happen is you are going to increase your confidence. And you might be saying, how do I increase my confidence with non negotiables? You are building trust with yourself. When you show up for yourself every single day and you make those commitments and you follow through with those commitments, you are building trust. And what did we learn earlier today? Trust is a one-way ticket to our intuition, which is a secure attachment. When we lean into the secure attachment, we can let our intuition take over. When we lean into an anxious attachment, when we don't follow through, when we don't build trust with ourselves, we let our ego take over. And when our ego takes over, it's based off of where we're at today in fear, not what's possible for tomorrow with intuition, with security, with trust, and confidence. I know that 2025 is going to be an amazing year. I can feel it. So re-listen to this audio, re-listen to this episode, watch this on YouTube if you so please. Do all of the journal prompts to really allow you to get into the headspace of releasing what doesn't serve you so you can make room for the most amazing, the most epic 2025. And I will catch everyone in next week's episode. Bye, everyone.